Kobe Bufkin was a 4-star recruit when he committed to Michigan in July of 2020. He played sparingly his freshman year, appearing in 28 games and averaging just 10 minutes per game. Bufkin returned to Michigan for his sophomore season and enjoyed far more success, starting all 33 of Michigan's games and chipping in 14 points per game. Michigan as a team had a relatively disappointing season, missing the NCAA tournament and bowing out against Vanderbilt in the second round of the NIT. But Bufkin still made enough of an impression with his contributions on both ends of the floor to work his way slowly up mock drafts. He's now being looked at as a likely late first-round pick in this upcoming draft. The first strength for Bufkin is defense. Bufkin is quick and lanky, making him well suited to defend on the perimeter from a physical tools standpoint, but he also displays intense effort and nice technique on the ball. Bufkin does a good job staying vertical on drives and slides his feet well to stay in front, forcing the offensive player to go through his chest if they want to score. Bufkin doesn't pick up a ton of counting stats on the defensive end. He averaged a modest 1.3 blocks and 0.7 steals per game this past season, but he certainly makes life difficult for perimeter offensive players. I think he'll be a really nice addition to a team's point of attack defense at the NBA level. Another strength for Bufkin is scoring at the basket. Bufkin isn't a huge guy and looks like a good but maybe not great athlete by NBA standards. But despite these factors, he's very effective at scoring around the basket. Bufkin is great at using his quickness to get a step on a defender driving to the basket, and then has great touch once he gets there. Bufkin just seems to be able to contort his body and arms around defenders on drives and then put all of the English he needs on the ball to get it to drop through the basket. Bufkin isn't really a guy that can consistently create his own opportunities off the dribble, but he's smart with his cuts off the ball and loves to come charging around a screen or a handoff and get ahead of steam to the basket. He looks like he'll be a nice off-ball scoring option at the next level. One weakness for Bufkin is shot selection. While Bufkin has shown the ability to make contested shots from all levels of the floor in some capacity, he sure does seem to take a lot of them. I think some of this comes back to Bufkin not being the most dynamic shot creator with his handle. He's solid with the ball in his hands, but he doesn't seem to create much space from defenders off the dribble. He gets most of his good looks working away from the ball and getting set up by a teammate or driving off of a handoff. When he shoots off the dribble, it's often a tough fadeaway or a well-contested jumper. With this in mind, I don't think Bufkin will be asked to create much off the dribble at the NBA level. They'll ask him to do what he's good at and be an outlet for other creators, but he will just want to be sure he is making good choices with his shots in the NBA. Another weakness for Bufkin is his size. In fairness to Bufkin, there are rumors that he has grown this season and also added some mass, which could entirely change this discussion. But as it stands currently, he is listed at 6'4", 175 pounds. This would be a pretty small NBA point guard, let alone a wing player, which is more where Bufkin fits positionally. Bufkin is a pest on the perimeter on defense, but if he shows up in the NBA at 6'4", 175, he's going to get picked on defensively by bigger wing players. And on the other side of the court, he might be a creative finisher around the basket, but he could find it more difficult to get to the hoop at that size in the NBA. Now, if Bufkin gets measured pre-draft and has indeed grown a bit and bulked up, maybe we're having a different conversation. But based on what we know now, there could be some bumps in the road for Bufkin adjusting to NBA physicality. This first clip shows how Bufkin excels at finishing around the rim. The play starts with Bufkin handling out on the perimeter. He gets a screen from a teammate and maneuvers around the help defender. He then attacks to his left before his defender can fully get back into the play. He gets all the way to the basket and encounters another defender going straight up at the rim. Bufkin goes straight into the defender, curls his arm around the outstretched arms of the defender, and finishes the layup. Bufkin may not be the biggest or most athletic player, but he's a very creative and effective finisher at the rim. This next clip displays some of Bufkin's issues with shot selection. The play starts with Bufkin receiving the inbounds pass and backing his defender in towards the basket. He then tries to pivot into a fadeaway jumper, but the defender isn't fooled at all and stays right in his grill the whole way. But rather than passing it out or trying some more moves to create space, Bufkin simply forces up the shot and misses badly. Bufkin has shown he has some ability to make tough shots, but he'll want to avoid forcing shots like this one at the next level. Kobe Bufkin was not expected to be in the running for a first-round selection at the start of this season. He's actually only really started showing up in mock drafts as a potential first rounder since the season ended and people got a chance to really dive into his tape. Bufkin was overshadowed a bit by teammate Jett Howard, who has been a mainstay in the first round of mock drafts pretty much all season. It also likely didn't help that Michigan had an underwhelming season and missed the NCAA tournament. There just wasn't a ton of opportunity for Bufkin to display his skills. But people are now seeing his potential as a two-way player, a guy that can potentially be plugged into a rotation fairly early in his career and make a positive impact. Ultimately, I don't see Bufkin as a guy that will be carrying a team on his own, but he looks like a player that could be a key cog for a good team. Somebody that makes contributions all over the court as either a starter or a key bench player. My NBA comp for Kobe Bufkin is Donte DiVincenzo. Donte has never been a star in his NBA career with the Bucks, Kings, or Warriors, but he has always found a way to provide value on both ends of the floor wherever he goes. Bufkin seems like a player that could follow a similar trajectory in his NBA career.